up, everybody? It's your teacher, Mr. Scheider, coming to you from my house. Today, we're moving on to we're sticking with the percents, fractions, and decimals, but today we're going to be turning decimals and percents into one another. Right? We practiced on Monday fractions and decimals. We practiced a little bit with percents and fractions on Tuesday. Now we're going to do percents and decimals. Basically, I'm going to give you a decimal that looks like that, right? Say 48 hundredths or something, and I'm going to have you write it as a percent like that. 48 hundredths as a decimal is 48%. And here's why. Because when you take a decimal like 0.48, and you really think about it, remember all percents are out of 100, and we talked about how to turn them from fractions to percents on Tuesday. So if you took 48 hundredths, right, and you turned that into a fraction, then we know that would be 48 hundredths, right? Exactly how it sounds. So then if we were to take 48 hundredths and turn it into a percent, then 48 out of 100 is just 48%, right? So again, what we practiced on Monday and Tuesday, what we practiced on what we practiced on Monday, what we practiced on Tuesday, and then what we're doing today is kind of skipping that process, maybe going back and forth turning between a decimal and a percent. So I've got a couple examples for you that we're going to go through here. Let's start off with, say, the decimal 32 hundredths. 32 hundredths as a fraction would be written as 32 over 100, which would then be written as a percent as 32%. So it seems pretty easy, right? Another example might be 0.09 or 9 hundredths, right? And 9 hundredths as a fraction, well, we could probably skip that fraction part for right now, but 9 hundredths as a percent would be 9%, right? 9 out of 100, or as a fraction, 9 out of 100. Okay, so as you can see, these ones seem pretty straightforward. And they really are. But it gets easier. I promise you, it gets easier. Any percent that you have or any decimal that you have can be turned into one another just by moving the decimal. Okay, so for example, let's say I give you, let's go back to our first example of 0.48. If you would like to turn this into a percentage, and this is what most adults would do, right? And most people who are pretty efficient in this, they'll take this decimal and they will move it 2 places to the right. And if you do that on 48 hundredths, getting blurry here. If you move the decimal 2 places to the right, then you end up with 48. Now, 0.48 and 48 aren't the same thing, but 48% most definitely is, right? So all you have to do is slide that decimal 2 places away. Now, likewise, if you want to go back the other way, say I give you 48%, and I tell you to turn that into a decimal, all you have to do is move the decimal 2 places to the left. So if I want to turn this into a decimal 2 places over, then your answer will be 0.48, just like that. Okay, so I do have a couple practice problems here. I want you guys to try these for me real quick. I want you to turn these into percent. So once you see them, I want you to go ahead and pause the video. Right now, turn those 3 decimals into percents. Okay, hopefully you're back. Hopefully you got an answer for these. These aren't exhaustive problems. It should be pretty quick. But to turn these into percents, you could either turn them into fractions and then percents, or you could use my quick, easy method. Kick this decimal over 2 spots on each one of them. So this one would be 47% if you move that decimal over 2 spots. Right? This one down here would be, move that decimal over 2 spots, 73%, right? Because 73 hundredths, 73%. This one, move this decimal. And again, you move it 2 times. I can't stress that enough. So many times every year, kids are like, oh, well, it can only go over 1 time. That's not true. It can go over 2 times. Okay, you would just have to put a 0 on the end of that one there. And this one would actually be 50%, which 0.5 is half. So is 50%, right? So those are your answers for those ones. Hope you did okay. If you struggle with this one a little bit, that's all right. But hopefully you know now. Let's do a couple more here. Let's go the other way. let me give you a couple percentages, and I want you to turn them into decimals. So here's 15%, here's 9.5%, and then here's 83%. Turn those into decimals for me real quick. All right, unpause it. I'm back. Let's go ahead and turn these into decimals by using the exact same method I told you to. You could turn them into fractions if you want to, guys, which would be like take 15%, that's 15 over 100, which is 15 hundredths, right? This is a method you could totally do, which is totally cool. Or just take the decimal and move it 2 places to the left, right? If you want to turn it from a percent to a decimal. So 9.5 as a decimal, 2 places to the left. Again, this one's kind of weird too because there's nothing right here, but that's okay. We fill in a 0. This would actually be 0.095, right? 0.095 because we moved it 2 places to the left. That's the rule. Follow it. You'll never miss those problems. 83%, same thing. Kick that decimal 2 places to the left. Your answer is 0.83 or 83 hundredths. All right, guys, that's your lesson for today. Hopefully it's not too exhaustive. There's quite a few questions on here, but they're pretty quick. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you in tomorrow's video lesson. Peace out. Have a good day, guys.